Okay, we are going to continue with our math packet on the next page. Here is where we are at. We've done that one. Now we have our formulas for our rectangular prism. The formula is length times width times height. For our cube, it's still length times width times height, or you could say side cubed. Triangular prism is 1/2 the length times the width times the height. Our pyramid is length times width times height divided by 3. Our cylinder is pi r squared times the height. The cone is pi r squared times the height divided by 3. And for our sphere, we have 4 divided by 3 times pi times the radius cubed. You guys can leave. So those are our formulas for this page. Our next page, and you can be plugging in those numbers for what he has given us to find our unknown. Next page. Bye, kids. Next page, we have the area of the entire figure and the shaded region. We need to find those areas. All work must be shown, so show how you found it. To find the area of the figure, we want the full side times the full side, so you have to add your sides to find the full area. Remember, the area of the square is the length times the width. Then to find our shaded region, there are multiple ways that I've seen this solved. The way my brain automatically jumped to was I looked at, that square can be broken into 2 triangles. I know the base of my triangle is the same as one side, and I know my height is right here. The height of that triangle is this section right here. So we have our base is that 6 plus 6, and our height is that 6 right there. So the area of a triangle, remember, is 1/2 of that base times the height. So we plug in what we know for our base, we plug in what we know for our height, and that will give us our white shape. That'll give us half of that white shape. We need to add a second time, multiply it by 2, add that number again, so we get the full white square. We're going to subtract that from the full figure, and that's going to equal our shaded region. So we take the full, we subtract out the white, and we are left with the shaded. And hopefully that made sense. If you are still questioning it, ask me about it in class. Our next page, we have the Fibonacci sequence and the Pascal triangle. We're bringing them together. So it says lines have been drawn showing the shallow diagonals of the Pascal's triangle. Write the sum of each shallow diagonal at the end of each line, the left side or the right, it doesn't matter. I did it on the left because that's where he drew the box. But you could do it, you're going to get the same number if we went on the other side. So 1 is just 1. 1 is just 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. Continue with your diagonals, adding them up to get your numbers on the side here. And then you have to answer. So just go all the way down to this bottom shallow diagonal that's drawn. And then you're going to answer what is hidden at the end of these shallow diagonals. What do we notice about all of these numbers? Again, you're going to look back at the title of the page that says it is the Fibonacci sequence and Pascal triangle being brought together. So remember what we've learned in previous packets about the Fibonacci sequence and Pascal's triangle, and see if the sum of numbers that you find on the side here If they look familiar, where have we seen them before? You do have to answer that bottom question. So don't forget to do that. Our polynomials, we know how to do the polynomials, just fit those in. And then our final page is making our graph. So we're going to make sure you use correct labeling. Create the graph that represents the data in the table. The bar graph is the best way to represent this. So make sure you have your bar graph. Make sure you have your numbers and your days of the week. And we title those and create a title for what this bar graph might be. So make sure you put a title, labels, those are all important. And then don't forget to answer that final question. Calculate the percentage of, or the final part of the direction. Calculate the percentage of customers that come each day of the week. So it's just like when we take a test. We would say, oh, I got, let's say 32 correct out of 40. So that 40 would be the whole amount, that total amount. So you need to look at our data and find out what is our whole amount of customers. Then look at your month, or sorry, your day of the week. The day of the week would be how many, like in the test example, how many you got right out of those. So this is how many customers came on that day out of how many total. So find the percentage for each day of the week. That's just my example. You're going to have to find the total number of customers, look at how many customers there are per day, and find what percentage those customers are out of your total customers. With that, we are done with our math packet. If you continue to have questions, please come and ask me. Have a wonderful day.